Welcome, my friends, to a place where we share inspiration and positivity. Welcome to our channel, where today's focus is all about Angelique Kerber. Let's get started. Angelique Kerber, born 18 January 1988, is a German former professional tennis player. She was ranked as the world No. 1 in women's singles by the Women's Tennis Association WTA for 34 weeks, including as the year-end No. 1 in 2016. Kerber won 14 WTA Tour-level singles titles, including 3 majors at the 2016 Australian Open, the 2016 US Open, and the 2018 Wimbledon Championships. She also won a silver medal in women's singles at the 2016 Rio Olympics. Kerber made her professional debut in 2003 and began her rise to prominence upon reaching the semifinals of the 2011 US Open as the world No. 92. An accomplished left-handed player, Kerber first cracked the top 5 in the rankings in 2012 and would eventually become world No. 1 on 12 September 2016, becoming the 22nd and oldest player to achieve the top ranking. Following a maternity leave, Kerber retired from the sport after the 2024 Paris Olympics. Let's now turn our attention to early life and uncover the fascinating insights it brings to the table. Kerber was born on 18 January 1988 in Bremen to Polish-German parents Szałomy Kerber from Poznan and Beata Mzenik, who is also her manager. She has one sister, Jessica. She grew up in Kiel, where her family stayed in an apartment in a training academy where her parents work, and started playing tennis at age 3, eventually joining the junior circuit. Although born right-handed, Kerber plays left-handed. Let's transition to first WTA Tour final and US Open semifinals and uncover its significance. Kerber made her first attempt to qualify for a WTA tournament in January 2005 at the Auckland Open, falling to Janette Husarov in the final round. In 2007, she made her Grand Slam main draw debut at the French Open where she lost to 13th seed Elena Dementieva in the opening round. Shortly after, she appeared in the main draw of a WTA tournament for the first time, in Birmingham, where she reached the 3rd round, losing to 5th seed Marion Bartoli, who was the eventual runner-up at Wimbledon that year. The week after Birmingham, she reached her first main draw quarterfinal at the Rosemelin Open where she was beaten by eventual champion Anna Chakhtadze, and then fell to Chakhtadze once more, in the first round of Wimbledon. At the US Open, Kerber drew Serena Williams in the first round and lost in straight sets. Kerber achieved her first top 100 season finish in 2007 at World No. 84. She won 8 titles on the ITF circuit from 2004 to 2007. Kerber achieved her first Grand Slam victory in 2008 at the Australian Open by defeating Marit Annie before losing to 25th seed Francesca Schiavone. She also made the 3rd round at Indian Wells where she lost to 6th seed Bartoli. Kerber did not progress much that year after that, besides winning a further 2 ITF titles. Her struggles would continue in 2009 as she managed just 3 wins in WTA main draws. She did qualify for the US Open that year, where she made the 2nd round. She also won her 11th and final ITF title that year. She finished 2008 and 2009 respectively ranked barely outside the top 100 at No. 108 and No. 106 respectively. In 2010, Kerber qualified for the Australian Open where she reached the 3rd round of a major for the first time, losing to 3rd seed Svetlana Kuznetsova in a close 3-setter from a set-up. She then reached her maiden WTA final in Bogota, finishing runner-up to home star Mariana Duque Mario, having upset top seed Gisela Dulko in the semi-finals. Kerber proceeded to reach 2 other quarterfinals that year, in Fez and Copenhagen, and also reached the 3rd round of Wimbledon, where she defeated Sania Mirza and upset 13th seed Shahar Peer before losing to Jarmila Grof. At the end of the year, she made the 3rd round in Beijing where she lost to Li Na and capped off her season with a semi-final run in Luxembourg. She ended the year ranked No. 47. Kerber did not win back-to-back matches in the first 7 months of 2011 except once, at her first tournament of the year, in Hobart. At Wimbledon, she lost to youngster Laura Robson in the first round. In Dallas, the week before the US Open, she recorded a semi-final run where she lost to Erovan Reza. Kerber entered the US Open ranked world No. 92 and passed the first hole with a win in 3 sets over Lauren Davis in 3 sets. Next, she faced 12th seed Agnieszka Radwanska and pulled off a shock 3-set victory before going on to beat both Ola Kudryavtseva and Monica Niculescu to reach her maiden Grand Slam quarterfinal. There, Kerber surprised multiple-time quarterfinalist Flavia Pennetta in 3 sets to advance to the semi-final, where she lost to 9th seed and eventual champion Samantha Stosur in 3 sets. Kerber reached a new career-high ranking of world No. 34 after the tournament. She then qualified for the Pan-Pacific Open and reached the second round, losing to eventual champion Radwanska from a set-up. After that, she reached the semi-finals in Osaka where she lost to eventual champion Bartoli. She finished the year as world No. 32, her second finish in a row in the top 50. Brace yourself for an enlightening exploration of 2012 Wimbledon semi-finals, first title, top 5 as we dive into its profound implications. Kerber's first tournament of 2012 was the Auckland Open where she reached the semi-finals, falling to eventual runner-up Pennetta. At the Australian Open, Kerber was seeded at a Grand Slam tournament for the first time and made the third round where she lost to 4th seed Maria Sharapova. As a result, Kerber rose to a new career-high ranking of world No. 27. She then competed in her first Fed Cup tie in almost 5 years, where Germany faced defending champions Czech Republic in the quarterfinals, and won her only rubber, defeating Lucy Hradek in straight sets, but the Germans lost the tie. At her next tournament was in Paris, Kerber lifted her maiden WTA singles title. After seeing off Luciafov and Niculescu to make the last 8, she upset top seed Sharapova in straight sets. Kerber then beat Janina Wickmeyer in the last 4, and faced second seed Bartoli in the final, seeing off the home player in 3 sets to win the title. She then suffered an early loss at the Qatar Open in hands of unseeded Bulgarian Stana Pironkova in the second round. Kerber's continued her surge up the rankings through the coming 3 months, that culminated in her cracking the top 10 rankings for the first time in her career. She started with a semi-final appearance at the Indian Wells Open. Seeded 18th with a bye in the first round, she moved past 3 Americans in Sloane Stephens, Vonia King and Christina McHale, the second one via a walkover. Kerber then upset 8th seed Lino in the quarterfinals, but was stopped by world No. 1 and eventual champion Victoria Azarenka in the last 4. Her ranking improved to a career-high world No. 14 as a result. In Miami, Kerber was upset in her opener by Zheng Ji. Her next stop was indoors, at the Danish Open where she was the second seed. In her opener, she struggled past Stefanie Foritz-Dacken and then defeated Anke Wong and fellow German Mona Barthel. After that, she defeated third seed Jelena Jankovic to reach her second final of the year. She won the title by defeating the top seed and defending champion Caroline Wozniacki in straight sets. Starting off her clay season on home soil, in Stuttgart, Kerber advanced to the quarterfinals with wins over Roberta Vinci and 6th seed Wozniacki, before losing to 3rd seed Petra Kvitova. After an early exit in Madrid, Kerber advanced to the semi-finals in Rome after avenging her Stuttgart loss to Kvitova in the last 8, which ensured herself a rise to the top 10 rankings for the first time in her career. In the last 4, she lost to Sharapova in straight sets. At the French Open, 10th Kerber amassed back-to-back wins here for the first time after beating Zhang Shui and Olga Govetsova. She then beat 18th seed Pennetta in 3 sets before seeing off Petra Marti in the 4th round to reach the quarterfinals, where she lost to eventual runner-up Sarah Aroney. Kerber continued her steady rise of 2012 on grass, Firstly, by posting a runner-up appearance in Eastbourne, losing to a close final to Tamira Poshik, having served for the championship in the deciding set and missing 5 match points. At the Wimbledon Championships, Kerber was seeded 8th. She advanced to her second Grand Slam quarterfinal in a row, this time without losing set, by beating Lucy Hradek, Ekaterina Makarova, 28th seed Christina Mikhail and former world No. 1 Kim Clijsters, the latter in 49 minutes. There, she defeated fellow German and 15th seed Sabine Lisicki in 3 sets, having been down a break in the third. In the semi-finals, she lost to Agnieszka Radwanska. This was Kerber's then most recent equal best Grand Slam result for another 3 years until Australian Open in 2016. At the London Olympics, Kerber made her first appearance at this stage and was seeded 7th. She defeated Petra Sekovsk and Tommy Bobo's first 2 rounds to set up a clash with Venus Williams. There, she beat the former world No. 1 in 2 to-break sets to make the quarterfinals, where she lost to top seed and eventual bronze medalist Victoria Azarenka in straight sets. In the other disciplines, Kerber partnered Philipp Petzner in mixed doubles and Lisicki in women's doubles, falling in the first and second rounds, respectively. Competing at the Canadian Open to open her US Open Series campaign, Kerber lost early but bounced back at the Cincinnati Open with another strong result. First, she beat Bobos and Andrea Tlavikova to reach the quarterfinals, where she defeated Serena Williams for the first time, winning in straight sets, thus snapping Williams's 19-match winning streak. She continued with a win over Kvitova in the semi-finals to book a spot in her first Premier 5 final, but lost to Lee from a set-up. At the US Open, 6th-seeded Kerber won a close match against Venus Williams in the second round en route to the 4th round, but failed to defend her semi-final points from a year ago when she lost to eventual semi-finalist Arani. Kerber's next tournament was the Pan-Pacific Open, where she made it to the semi-finals before losing to defending champion Radwanska. She also reached the quarterfinals of the China Open, but fell to eventual runner-up Sharapova. Her breakthrough season ensured her self-qualification for her maiden appearance at the WTA Tour Championships. She also hit the world's top 5 rankings for the first time in her career at World No. 5, entering the week of the season-ending championships, where she was seeded 5th. There, however, she exited the tournament in the round-robin stage, without winning any matches, the losses coming in the hands of Serena Williams, Azarenka and Lee. Nevertheless, Kerber ended the 2012 season at World No. 5 with 60 wins amassed throughout the season. As we enter this new phase, let's uncover the impact of continued success, steady ranking in top 10 on our broader topic. Kerber began 2013 at the Brisbane International, where she was seeded 4th, and made the quarterfinals, where she was stopped by eventual runner-up Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova. Seeded 2nd in Sydney, Kerber made the last 4 but lost to another eventual runner-up once more, this time in Dominika Sibukov. She then reached the 4th round of the Australian Open, completing the set of second-week appearances at all 4 Grand Slams. Along the way, she defeated Elina Svitolina, Lucy Hradek, and wildcard Madison Keys. She was subsequently defeated by 19th seed Ekaterina Makarova after struggling with a back injury. After a drier winner's spell in the Middle East, Kerber bounced back with a second consecutive semi-final result at the Indian Wells Open, where she was stopped by 8th seed Caroline Wozniacki in 3 sets, despite having won the first set. Like the previous year, an early exit in Miami followed suit, this time to Sorana Kirsti. Kerber then reached her first final of 2013 in Monterrey, where she was the top seed but lost to Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova in 3 sets. Kerber posted strong results on clay in 2013. Firstly, on Fed Cup, she helped Germany regain its place in the world group by winning her rubber against Birgitta Jovanovski, the German eventually winning the tie. She then recorded a run to the semi-finals in Stuttgart, going 1 round better than the previous year, where she fell in 3 sets to defending champion Maria Sharapova. At the Madrid Open, sixth-seeded Kerber moved into the quarterfinals here for the first time after defeating top 40 opposition in Xiesue, Ulas Cornet and Svetlana Kuznetsova. There, she lost to Anna Ivanovic in straight sets. At the French Open, Kerber reached the fourth round for the second year in a row but did not go further this time as she was beaten by former champion Kuznetsova in 3 sets. She did not enjoy much success on grass next, however, as she failed to post back-to-back wins in her tournament appearances on the surface, falling at the second hurdles of both Eastbourne and Wimbledon to Makarova and Kayakinpi, respectively. Having failed to defend her semi-final result at Wimbledon from the year, Kerber fell to world No. 9 in the rankings after the tournament's conclusion. After posting a quarterfinal at the Washington Open, Kerber made her only appearance of the US Open Series in Cincinnati but lost in third round to Li Na in a rematch of last year's championship match. At the US Open, 8th seed Kerber posted her third fourth-round result at the Grand Slams this year and second in a row here after defeating Hradek, Eugenie Bouchard and 25th seed Kempe but then lost to 18th seed Carlos Suarez Navarro this time. During the Asian swing, Kerber's form improved as she reached her second final of 2013 at the Pan-Pacific Open, having defeated Ivanovic, Wozniacki and Radwanska en route, but there, she lost to Petra Kvitova in 3 sets. The following week at the China Open, she reached the quarterfinals where she lost to Radwanska and then advanced into her third final of the season at the Linz Open. There, Kerber scored her third career title and third indoors, as she defeated two-time champion Ivanovic, thus and filling up the last spot at the WTA Tour Championships. In her second outing at the championships, Kerber failed to get past the round-robin stage once more, with losses to Serena Williams and Kvitova. However, she did record her maiden victory at this stage by defeating Radwanska in her second round-robin match. Kerber would finish the year as world No. 9. Kerber began 2014 the same way she did in 2013, logging in quarterfinal or better results in both Brisbane and Sydney, going one round better in the latter this time around by making the final but there, she was stunned by qualifier Stanipironkova in straight sets. She made the fourth round of the Australian Open once more, falling to 28th seed Flavia Pennetta in 3 sets this time around. At the Open of Suez, former champion Kerber made the quarterfinals where she lost to eventual champion Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova. In Fed Cup quarterfinal play against Slovakia, Kerber contributed to the German team's victory by winning both her singles rubbers over Dominika Sibukov and Daniela Hantuchev. At the Qatar Open, Kerber sailed into her first quarterfinal in the Middle East with wins over Karolina Pliskova and Klara Kaukalov. She subsequently moved into her second final of 2014 with wins over qualifier Petra Setkovsk and 5th seed Jelena Jankovic. There, she lost to Simona Halep in straight sets. After a 2-match losing streak across Dubai and Indian Wells, 5th-seeded Kerber made her first quarterfinal showing in Miami, where she lost to defending champion Serena Williams in straight sets. In April, Kerber helped put her country in the Fed Cup final, with Germany taking on Australia in the last 4 by winning both her singles rubbers against Samantha Stosur and Casey Delasquez. However, she then endured a 3-match losing streak to begin her season on clay, snapping it on home soil in Nuremberg with a quarterfinal appearance, where she was beaten by Pliskova. At the French Open, Kerber made the last 16 for the second year running, falling to rising star and 18th Bouchard this time around. On grass, Kerber enjoyed better results this year, starting off with her second appearance in the championship match at the Eastbourne International but finished runner-up once more, her third of 2014, this time to youngster Madison Keys in 3 sets. At Wimbledon, Kerber was seeded 9th and entered the second week for the 4th Grand Slam tournament running, with victories over the likes of defeated Urszula Radwanska, Heather Watson, and previous year's semi-finalist Kirsten Flipkens. In the round of 16, she prevailed over reigning French Open champion and 5th seed Sharapova in 3 sets to move into the second last 8 showing here. There, she lost to eventual runner-up Bouchard in straight sets. Kerber opened her US Open Series campaign in Stanford where she was the 3rd seed. She defeated Coco Vandeweghe in 3 sets in her opener to reach quarterfinals where she saw off Garbine Muguruza. A win over Varvara Lechenko, where she had to save a match point, put her in her 4th final of the year, but she had to settle for the runner-up position again for the 4th time in 2014 when she lost to Serena Williams. After a string of early exits in Montreal and Cincinnati, Kerber made the 3rd round of the US Open with wins over Russian qualifiers Ksenia Perfak and Ola Kudryavtseva, but lost to unseeded youngster Belinda Bencic. Kerber posted deep runs in Tokyo and the inaugural WTA Open the following month, reaching the semifinals and quarterfinals, respectively. In her final tournament of the season, Kerber made the 3rd round of the China Open where she lost to Svetlana Kuznetsova. Kerber did not qualify for the WTA Finals in 2014 but entered the tournament as an alternate and would finish the season ranked world No. 10. Kerber finished the year by representing Germany in the Fed Cup final, where the team took on the Czech Republic. After dropping her first match to Lucia Favre, she came up against Petra Kvitova. There, Kerber dropped the first set to Brooke, and then avoided a bagel down in the second set by coming back to win it. She came up short in the decider, however, as Kvitova launched her comeback from down to win it, ensuring the Czech team an unassailable, and the title. Brace yourself for a captivating discussion on 2015 for career titles as we explore its nuances and implications. Kerber started her year of 2015 by posting deep runs in both Brisbane and Sydney International, with quarterfinal and semi-final results, respectively. However, at the Australian Open, she crashed out in the opening round to Irina Camelia-Begu, and it was the first time Kerber lost at the first hole of a Grand Slam tournament since Wimbledon in 2011. Representing Germany in the Fed Cup quarterfinals where the Germans faced Australia, Kerber scored a win out of her 2 matches played, over Samantha Stosur, but the 2014 runner-ups would progress by winning the tie. Her form, however, did not improve further across the months of February and March as she netted just 2 wins across 5 tournaments played, and by the start of April, she had fallen out of the top 10 for the first time since May 2012. At the Charleston Open, 5th seed Kerber overcame a 3rd set deficit to defeat Evgenia Rodina in her opening match, and then cruised past Lara Erubarina to reach the last 8. Her run continued with a win over Begu in 2 tight sets, followed by another straight set victory over fellow German and defending champion Andrea Petkovic to advance to her first final of 2015. There, Kerber faced 7th seed Madison Keys and she fought back from a deficit in the 3rd set to claim her 4th WTA title and her first since the fall of 2013, besides it being her first tournament triumph on clay. In the Fed Cup semi-finals, where Germany faced Russia, Kerber won her only rubber played against Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova in straight sets, dropping just 1 game. The win, however, was not enough as Germany lost the deciding doubles match. Kerber was unseeded in Stuttgart to open her season on red clay and defeated Alexa Glach in straight sets, before upsetting 3-time defending champion Maria Sharapova in 3 sets. In the quarterfinals, she saw off Ekaterina Makarova before beating Madison Bringle to reach her 2nd final of the year. There, she fought back from a set and down to prevail over Caroline Wozniacki, thus scoring her 5th career title, also her first on home soil, which saw her extend her winning streak on clay to 11 matches. That streak, however, expired in the hands of Stosur in the opening round of Madrid. At the Italian Open, Kerber reached the 2nd round after defeating Elise Cornet but lost to Begu once more. After a semi-final run in Nuremberg, Kerber exited the French Open in the 3rd round from a set-up in the hands of Garbine Muguruza. On grass, Kerber had a bright start by lifting the title at the Birmingham Classic where she was the 4th seed. En route, She advanced to the quarterfinals after defeating Stana Pironkova and Jelena Jankovic. She then beat Katina Siniakova in straight sets to set up an all-German semi-final where she faced Sabine Lisicki, their first meeting since Wimbledon in 2012. Kerber won in straight sets and subsequently advanced to her third final of the season where she defeated Karolina Pliskova in a tight three-setter for her sixth career title, her first on grass. This marked the first time Kerber had won more than 2 titles in a season. At the Wimbledon Championships, Kerber advanced to the third round where she crossed paths with Muguruza once more and lost to the eventual runner-up in 3 sets. Kicking off her US Open Series campaign in Stanford, 5th-seeded Kerber defended her runner-up result from a year ago by beating Daria Gavrilova and Anna Konyu to make the last 8 where she edged past 2nd-seed Agnieszka Radwanska in a 3-set marathon to reach the last 4. She then beat Elena Svitolina to make the final where she met Pliskova and defeated the Czech in 3 sets once again, this time to lift her 7th career title, and became the only player to win titles across all surfaces in 2015. Kerber did not enjoy better results on American hard courts in her following tournaments with early losses in Toronto and Cincinnati. At the US Open, she was the 11th seed, came up short in the third round again, this time in a 3-set defeat to 20th seed and 2-time runner-up Victoria Azarenka in an epic encounter. Kerber bounced back with stronger results in the Asian swing, starting off with a quarterfinal showing in Tokyo where she lost to Wozniacki in 3 sets. At the WTA Open, Kerber reached the last 8 after dispatching Jelena Jankovic and Kamila Georgi, before moving past Coco Vandeweghe via retirement. In the semi-finals, she lost to Muguruza once again, this time in straight sets. At the China Open next, Kerber advanced to the last 8 where she lost to Radwanska in straight sets. Kerber would then reach her 5th final of the year at the Hong Kong Open but finish runner-up for the first time this season, falling to Jankovic in 3 sets. It was announced on 21 October that Kerber had qualified for the WTA Finals, marking her 3rd appearance here. As the 6th seed, she was drawn into the same group with Muguruza and fellow left-handed players Petra Kvitova and Lucia Fov. She exited in the round-robin stage, managing just 1 win that came over Petra Kvitova. Having spent patches of 2015 out of the top 10, Kerber eventually concluded the season as World No. 10, maintaining her season finish from 2014. With our foundation established, it's time to explore 2016 Australian Open and US Open champion, World No. 1 and its relevance to our overarching theme. Kerber began the year at the Brisbane International, posting a runner-up result, with wins over Kamila Georgi, Madison Brinell, Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova and Carlos Suarez Navarro en route to the final, where she lost to former champion Victoria Azarenka. In Sydney, Kerber defeated Elena Svitolina in the opening round but then withdrew with an illness. Kerber was the 7th seed at the Australian Open and defeated Misaki Doi in the first round, having been a match point down. She then scored a triplet of straight set wins over Alexandra Dulgaru, Brinell, and compatriot Annika Beck to reach her first quarterfinal in Melbourne, completing the sweep of quarterfinal appearances at all 4 Grand Slams in the process. In the quarterfinals, she avenged her Brisbane loss by defeating 2-time champion Victoria Azarenka in straight sets, her first win against the Belarusian, to advance to the 3rd Grand Slam semi-final of her career, her first since Wimbledon in 2012. There, Kerber defeated Grand Slam semi-final debutante Johanna Konta in straight sets to reach her maiden Grand Slam final. She defeated defending champion and World No. 1, Serena Williams, earning her first Grand Slam title and becoming the first German to do so since 1999. Besides becoming the first player to win a Grand Slam having been down match point in the first round, she also recorded her best ranking to date as World No. 2 following the achievement, surpassing her prior career high of No. 5 set that she had set in 2012. Representing Germany in the Fed Cup quarterfinals where the Germans faced the Swiss team, Kerber went in a singles matches, with Germany losing the tie in the end. Kerber then endured a dry spell across the Qatar and Indian Wells Opens, dropping both her openers. However, she bounced back with a run to the semi-finals in Miami where she was stopped by eventual champion Victoria Azarenka. At the Charleston Open, top seed and defending champion Kerber sailed into her consecutive semi-final but this time retired to eventual champion Sloane Stephens due to a viral illness. In the Fed Cup World Group Playoffs, the German team faced Romania and Kerber duly emerged victorious in both her singles rubbers over Irina Camelia Begu and Simona Halep, losing only 4 games to the latter, and also her first ever win over her to keep Germany in the World Group as the team would win the tie. Kerber was the defending champion in Stuttgart and successfully defended a title for the first time in her career. After a first-round bye, she beat Beck, Carla Suarez Navarro, and Petra Kvitova to reach the final. There she faced compatriot and qualifier Laura Siegemund and won 10 games in a row from down in the first set to defeat Siegemund and score her second title of the year and 9th of her career. Another losing streak ensued to close her clay season, however, which includes a loss to Kiki Bertens at the French Open, Bertens then becoming an eventual semi-finalist herself. Prior to Wimbledon, Kerber attempted to defend her title at the Birmingham Classic and sailed into the last 8 where she met Suarez Navarro once again but lost to Spaniard. At Wimbledon, 4th-seeded Kerber did not drop a set, with wins over Laura Robson, Varvara Lechenko, Karina Withoft, Doi and 5th-seed Halep, en route to her second semi-final here. There, she moved past former champion Venus Williams to reach the final, where she was defeated by Serena Williams in a rematch of the Australian Open Championship encounter earlier in the year, in straight sets. After Wimbledon, Kerber played at the Swedish Open where she withdrew before her second-round match due to an injury. She then reached her first quarterfinal at the Canadian Open with 3-set wins over Mirjana Louis Baroni and Svitolina. She then beat Daria Kasatkina to make the last 4 and lost to eventual champion Halep. At the Rio Olympics, Kerber defeated Mariana Duke Morio, Eugenie Bouchard, Samantha Stosur to record her second Olympic quarterfinal appearance. 2 more wins, over Konta and Madison Keys, saw Kerber book her spot in the gold medal match, where she was defeated by surprise finalist Monica Puga Puerto Rico in 3 sets. Kerber's strong summer continued at the Cincinnati Open where she had her first opportunity to dethrone Serena Williams as the world won but needs to win the title to do so. Kerber did make the final where she faced 15th seed Karla Pliskova but lost in straight sets. Nevertheless, Kerber's strong results throughout the year thus far ensured herself qualification for the WTA Finals, which was announced on 22 August following the conclusion of the Cincinnati tournament. At the US Open, Kerber beat the likes of Paulona Hercog, Louis Baroni, Sissi Bellis and 14th seed Petra Kvitova to make the quarterfinals here for the first time since her semi-final run back in 2011. She continued with wins over 8th seed and 2015 runner-up Roberta Vinci and a resurgent Caroline Wozniacki to reach her 3rd Grand Slam final. Her win over Wozniacki in the semi-finals, combined with Serena Williams' defeat to 10th seed Pliskova in the same round, meant that Kerber would unseat Serena Williams as the world won when the new rankings were released on 12 September the following week. In the championship match, Kerber gained her revenge over Pliskova by prevailing over the Czech in 3 sets to claim her 2nd Grand Slam title, the 10th title overall of her career. At the WTA Open, her first tournament since claiming the world #1 ranking, Kerber reached the 3rd round where she fell short to Kvitova in a 3-hour-long match. She then fell in the same round at the China Open, this time to Svitolina. Her penultimate tournament appearance of 2016 came at the Hong Kong Open where she lost in the quarterfinals to Daria Gavrilova. On 17 October 2016, Serena Williams pulled out of the WTA Finals in Singapore due to shoulder injury, and that withdrawal secured Kerber's spot at the summit of the WTA rankings for the rest of the year, including the year-end #1 ranking, another first in Kerber's career. As the top seed of the Tour Finals, Kerber was drawn in the same group alongside Halep, Keys, and Dominika Sibukov. She won all of her round-robin matches, scoring back-to-back wins here for the first time in her career as well, en route to her first semi-final here. She then defeated defending champion Agnieszka Radwanska in straight sets to reach the final, where she faced Sibukov once again that week, to whom she lost in straight sets. In this chapter, we'll be unraveling the enigma of 2017, struggles with form and out of top 20, and discovering its transformative power. At the start of the 2017 season, Kerber competed at the Brisbane International as the top seed, and won her opening match against Ashleigh Barty in 3 sets, but then lost to Elina Svitolina in the quarterfinals. The following week in Sydney, she dropped opening match to Daria Kasatkina. As the top-seeded player and defending champion at the Australian Open, Kerber overcame a mid-match lapse to see off Lesia Tsarenko in the first round, where she squandered a match point in the second set. Kerber then defeated compatriot Karina Withoft in the second round and Kristina Plurkova in the third round. In the fourth round, Kerber lost to eventual semi-finalist Coco Vandeweghe in straight sets. Serena Williams, who lost to Kerber in the championship match here 12 months ago, won the tournament this time and amassed enough points to take back the top ranking from Kerber. After a winless showing in Doha, Kerber made the last 4 in Dubai, where she lost to eventual champion Svitolina. The following month, in Indian Wells, Kerber reached the round of 16, where she lost to another eventual champion, this time in Elena Vesnina, but it was enough for Kerber to regain the World No. 1 ranking owing to Serena Williams' withdrawal from the event. This was then followed by a quarterfinal appearance in Miami, where she lost to Venus Williams, and then a runner-up showing in Monterrey, where in a rematch of the 2013 final, Kerber fell short to Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova in 3 sets. Kerber's season on clay began with her ranking at World No. 2, and a loss in her opener in Stuttgart to eventual runner-up Kristina Mladenovic. At the Madrid Open, Kerber won back-to-back wins to reach the third round, where she retired against Eugenie Bouchard with a back issue, but returned to World No. 1 after the tournament's conclusion nevertheless. At the French Open, Kerber became the first female top seed in history to be ousted in the first round here, falling in straight sets to Ekaterina Makarova. However, she fared better as the season moved to grass courts, by making the quarterfinals in Eastbourne, where she was defeated by Johanna Konta. At Wimbledon, Kerber made the second week, falling in the round of 16 to the eventual champion Garbi Muguruza in 3 sets. Due to Kerber's early exit and Simona Halep's loss to Konta in the quarterfinals, Karolina Plurkova became the new No. 1 after the tournament. Across the US Open Series, Kerber's struggles in 2017 continued as she netted just 1 victory across 3 tournament appearances in the North American hardcourt summer, which includes a first-round loss to Naomi Osaka at the US Open, where she was the defending champion. With this loss, Kerber dropped out of the top 10. The following month, at the Pan Pacific Open, Kerber recorded her best result since Monterrey back in April, as she took revenge on Osaka and then defeated Kasatkina and Plurkova, before falling in the last 4 to Pavlyuchenkova. The said win over Plurkova in Tokyo was Kerber's best win by ranking since the 2016 WTA Finals. She would go on to score just 1 more win for the rest of the year, however, in the first round of the China Open, where she beat Osaka once again. After dropping both her 2 matches in the group stage at WTA Elite Trophy to Pavlyuchenkova and Barty, Kerber dropped out of top 20 for the first time since 2012, and finished the year ranked World No. 21. Shortly after, on 16 November 2017, Kerber announced that she had parted ways with longtime coach Torben Beltz and has hired Wim Fissette as new coach. As we progress through this video, let's shift our attention towards 2018 Wimbledon champion, World No. 2 and uncover its hidden depths. Kerber started her 2018 season with a first-ever appearance at the Hopman Cup, where she partnered with Alexander Zverev. She went undefeated in her singles matches and helped the team cruise into the final, where they lost to Switzerland. Kerber followed up that performance with her first title in more than a year, at the Sydney International next. To make the final, she edged past Lucia Fabb and Venus Williams, saving a match point against the former to make the quarterfinals where she beat Dominika Cibulkova. She set up a championship match with home star Ashleigh Barty after moving past Camila Giorgi. There, she beat the Aussie in straight sets for her 11th career title. At the Australian Open, 21st Kerber moved into the fourth round with wins over Annalena Friedsam, Donna Vicky and former world No. 1 Maria Sharapova, all in straight sets and dropping no more than 4 games a set. There, she saw off Xie Suwei in 3 sets to move into her second quarterfinal here, where she swept aside Madison Keys. In the semi-final, a clash against world No. 1 Simona Halep. Both had 2 match points in the third set, but neither were converted. The match then ended in the third set, with Halep prevailing. Following her strong Australian summer, Kerber returned to the top 10 once again, ranked world No. 9. Kerber then made the last 8 at the Qatar Ladies Open, where she lost to world No. 1 Caroline Wozniacki in 3 sets. The following week in Dubai, she lost to Elina Svitolina in the semi-finals for the second year in a row, that being her 5th consecutive loss as well. At the Indian Wells Open, 10th seed Kerber beat Ekaterina Makarova and Elena Vesnina, avenging her defeat to the latter here a year ago, to reach the last 16 where she beat Caroline Garcia. She lost in the quarterfinals to Daria Kasatkina. Kerber carried on her good form through the Miami Open by sailing into the quarterfinals, defeating Johanna Larsson, Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova and Wang Yifan en route, where she was stopped by eventual champion Sloane Stephens, thus ensuring the latter her top 10 debut. In the Fed Cup semi-final tie against Czech Republic, Kerber dropped both her matches to Karna Plurkova and Petra Kvitova. Both of her matches she lost in straight sets, the latter defeat ensuring the Czechs a spot in the final. She gained her revenge over Kvitova at first hurl of the Stuttgart tournament the week after, before retiring against Anett Kontaveit in the following round. She was forced to skip the tournament in Madrid as a result, but bounced back at the Italian Open by making the last 8 here for the second time, her first since 2012, but fell victim to eventual champion Svitolina for the 6th time running. At the French Open, 12th seed Kerber snapped her losing streak here by defeating compatriot Mona Barthel in the first round. After seeing off Anna Boden, Kerber took down 18th seed Kiki Bertens, who had defeated her in the first round here 2 years ago, and then saw off 7th seed Caroline Garcia to make her second quarterfinal here, her first since 2012. In the quarterfinal, Kerber lost to top-ranked player and eventual champion Simona Halep from a setup. Nevertheless, the result is Kerber's equal best result here after her 2012 quarterfinal run. Kerber started the grass court swing as the 2nd seed in Malacca, where she lost in the first round to Alison Risk. In Eastbourne, she made the semi-finals, falling to eventual champion Caroline Wozniacki. Kerber entered Wimbledon as the 11th seed. She defeated 2010 finalist Vera Zvonareva and 2017 junior champion Claire Liu to reach the 3rd round, where she moved past 18th seed Naomi Osaka. She then saw off unseeded Belinda Bencic to make the last 8 by when she was the highest seed left in the draw. There, she avenged her loss in Indian Wells earlier in the year to Daria Kasatkina, needing 7 match points to seal the revenge, and then defeated 12th seed Gina Ostapenko to reach her 2nd Wimbledon final. There, in a rematch of the 2016 final, she turned the tides this time around by taking down 25th seed Serena Williams in straight sets for her 3rd Grand Slam title, and as a result, she became the only player to defeat Serena Williams in multiple Grand Slam finals apart from Venus Williams. Also, with this victory, Kerber found herself 1 Grand Slam tournament shy of a career Grand Slam, and also returned to World No. 4 in the rankings. Kerber did not enjoy the same success moving to the US Open Series, suffering a trio of early losses. First, at the Canadian Open, 4th seed Kerber lost her opener to Alice Cornet in straight sets. At the Cincinnati Open, Kerber lost in the 3rd round to Keys. This culminated in third-round defeat in the hands of 29th seed Sibukov at the US Open despite having led by a set. However, her strong results in the preceding months of the year ensured her a spot at the WTA Finals, sealing her qualification on 10 September. The Asian swing in 2018 was another uneventful outing for Kerber as she lost in the third round of both Wuhan and Beijing to Barty and Zhang Shui, respectively. In her fifth appearance at the season-ending WTA Finals, the final edition to be held in Singapore, Kerber was drawn into the same group as Osaka, Stevens and Bertens. There, she got her sole win of the tournament over the former, defeating the Japanese player in 3 sets. Kerber subsequently concluded 2018 as World No. 2, her second-best finish to a season. In November, Kerber announced a new partnership with Rainer Schittler as her new coach, having split with Fissette a month prior. Let's now zoom in on inconsistencies and out of top 20 and uncover the hidden gems that lie within. Kerber kicked off the 2019 season with her second appearance at the Hopman Cup, alongside Alexander Zverev once again. They lost in the final to Switzerland in a rematch of last year's final. In Sydney, Kerber failed in her title defense bid with a loss to eventual champion Petra Kvitova in the quarterfinals. At the Australian Open, second-seeded Kerber moved into the last 16 with straight-set wins over the likes of Polona Hercog, Beatrice Haddad gaining her 100th Grand Slam match win, and Kimberly Birrell, only to be upset by eventual semi-finalist Danielle Collins in straight sets. The following month, Kerber made the semi-finals at the Qatar Open where she lost to eventual champion Elise Mertens. At the Dubai Tennis Championships, Kerber lost in the third round to eventual semi-finalist Xie Su-wei in 3 sets. At the Indian Wells Open, Kerber reached a Premier Mandatory final for the first time in her career, which is also her first at the Premier Mandatory or Premier 5 stage since Cincinnati in 2016. En route to the final, she defeated Yulia Putintseva to begin, and followed up with 2 3-set wins over Natalia Vikliantseva and World No. 9 Aryna Sabalenka, which put her in the last 8. She then advanced to her first semi-final here since 2013 with a win over Venus Williams, where she saw off Belinda Bencic. In the final, young wildcard Bianca Andreescu defeated Kerber in 3 sets to win the title. At the Miami Open next, Kerber crossed paths with Andreescu once again, in the third round this time, and lost. In 3 sets. Kerber notably called her opponent biggest drama queen ever during their handshake after the match, owing to the multiple medical timeouts the latter had taken during the match. She then recorded a semi-final run at the Monterrey Open where she was the top seed but lost to Victoria Azarenka in 3 sets. Kerber her clay season in Stuttgart where she made the quarterfinals, but then had to withdraw in the second round of Madrid, having defeated Lesia Tsarenko in straight sets prior, owing to an injury in her right thigh. At the French Open, Kerber lost in the first round to Russian youngster Anastasia Potapova. That match, notably, was the first one played on the newly rebuilt court Felipe Chatria. Her form would improve on grass, however, as she started out with a semi-final run in Malacca where she was the top seed. She followed that up with a runner-up finish in Eastbourne, where she lost to Karolina Pliskova, their 5th encounter in a championship match. However, at Wimbledon, defending champion Kerber was shocked by lucky loser Lauren Davis in the second round. As a result of this defeat, she fell out of the top 10, and then parted ways with her coach Schittler. Kerber's dip in form stretched through the US Open series as she was inflicted with a 4-match losing streak, including a second-round loss at the US Open in the hands of Kristina Mladenovic. After that defeat, Kerber stated in her post-match interview that she had not reserved plans to find a new coach nor hire former coach Torben Beltz. At the Pan-Pacific Open, Kerber won consecutive matches for the first time in 3 months by seeing off Americans in Nicole Gibbs and Madison Keys to reach the semifinals, where she lost to Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova in straight sets. In her closing 2 events of 2019, the Wuhan and China Opens, Kerber managed just 1 win, over Zhang Shui in the opening round of the latter. She subsequently withdrew from the Luxembourg Open and the Elite Trophy due to a leg injury, thus finishing the year as World No. 20. On 21 November, Kerber announced that she has hired former World No. 130 Dieter Kindelmann as her coach. Kerber started her 2020 season in Brisbane, her last appearance here coming back in 2017. However, she was bounced in the opening round by home star Samantha Stosur in 2-break sets. Next, at the Adelaide International, she beat Wang Zhang in straight sets to open her tournament here before retiring against eventual runner-up Dana Yastremska due to a left hamstring injury. At the Australian Open, 17th seed Kerber made the fourth round here for the 7th time in her career, but was defeated by 30th seed Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova in 3 sets. That was Kerber's last tournament appearance before the 2020 season went into a lockdown following the COVID-19 pandemic. In late July, Kerber reunited with her former coach, Torben Beltz, with whom she captured her first 2 Grand Slam titles. Her first appearance since the tour suspension was lifted came at the US Open, where she lost to eventual semi-finalist Jennifer Brady in the 4th round. She finished her season with back-to-back defeats at the Italian and French Opens, in the hands of Siniakova and KG Juven, respectively. She would subsequently end the year ranked World No. 25, her lowest since 2011. With our foundation established, it's time to explore 2021, brief top 10 comeback and its relevance to our overarching theme. Kerber opened her 2021 season in Melbourne, entering the Gippsland Trophy, a modified warm-up tournament as part of the 2021 Melbourne Summer Series. However, it was later discovered that her flight to Melbourne carried a COVID-19 infected passenger, forcing her into a mandatory and strict hotel quarantine for 2 weeks, which severely limited her practicing opportunities besides preventing her from participating in the aforementioned tournament. The situation was, however, remedied with the creation of the Grampians Trophy. Seeded 8th, Kerber's run in this tournament returned wins over the likes of Katina Siniakova and Oms Jaber before being defeated by Maria Sakkari in the quarterfinals. At the Australian Open, she crashed out in the opening round to fellow lefty Bernarda Pera in straight sets, citing her lack of preparedness from her strict quarantine. The ensuing months of 2021, until the French Open in late May, would prove to be a tough one for Kerber, as she netted in just 6 wins across 7 tournaments played, and winning consecutive matches on just 1 occasion in the same stretch, at the Italian Open, where she beat Alice Cornet and defending champion Simona Halep, the latter via retirement, before taking a loss in the hands of Gina Ostapenko. At the French Open, she was bounced at the first hurdle here for the 5th time in past 6 appearances, this time to Ukraine's Anhelina Kalinina in straight sets. Kerber's resurgence in 2021, however, did come on the grass. After an early exit to Victoria Azarenka in Berlin, she won the title at the inaugural Bad Homburg Open, having need to come back from a set-down in each of her quarterfinal and semi-final matches against Amanda Anisimova and Petra Kvitova, respectively, to make her 3rd final in a row on grass, and her first since Eastbourne 2 years ago. She defeated Siniakova in the final for her 3rd title on grass, her first since Wimbledon in 2018 and the 13th of her career. Seeded 25th at Wimbledon, Kerber navigated her way past the likes of Nina Stojanovic, Sarah Sorobs-Tormo, Alexandra Sasnovich and 20th seed Coco Gauff to reach the quarterfinals here for the 5th time in her career. She then saw off 19th seed Karolina Muchova to advance to her 4th semi-final appearance here. There, she lost to World No. 1 and eventual champion Ashleigh Barty in straight sets, despite having served for the 2nd set. Kerber's first tournament of the year's US Open Series was the Cincinnati Open, where she defeated Maria Sakkari in the 1st round in straight sets, before recording her first win over Elina Svitolina in 7 meetings in the 2nd round. She next defeated Gina Ostapenko, despite twice being a breakdown in the 3rd set, before advancing to the semi-final after Petra Kvitova retired from their quarterfinal match. The quarter-final match against Petra Kvitova was Angelique Kerber's 1,000th match in her professional career. In the semi-final, she notched her second loss in straight sets to eventual champion Barty. As the 16th seed at the US Open, Kerber fought to take her campaign to the distance, but she was ultimately ousted in the round of 16, matching her performance from the preceding year. In a first-round thriller against Diana Yastremska, Kerber was down a set and a break in the deciding set, but she was able to force a tiebreak after Yastremska was serving for the match. In the end, after dropping her serve just once in the tiebreak, she was able to take the match. Following a straight-set win over Angelina Kalinina in the second round to avenge her loss in the French Open earlier in the year, she encountered Sloane Stephens, an opponent she had lost to on 5 prior occasions. Though Stephens took the first set, Kerber maintained her offensive tactics and won the match by taking the next 2 sets. The victory set her up for a match with Leylah Fernandez, who had just defeated defending champion Naomi Osaka, in a grueling 3-set match that included a second set tiebreak, which saw Fernandez fight her way back into the match. Kerber lost the third set to end her road at the last Grand Slam of 2021. Kerber took on her last tournament of the year at the Indian Wells Open. The defending finalist entered as the 10th seed and started her campaign with another grueling 3-set match, this time in a rematch against Bad Homburg finalist Siniakov. After she lost the second set to Brooke, she was able to hold off Siniakov in the third set to take the match. She followed up the win with another 3-set match that pit her against 2018 finalist Kasatkina. After decisively losing the second set, she saved break points when serving for the third set to win the match. Kerber then handed a straight-set loss to Aja Tomljanovic in the round of 16 to set up a first-time encounter with eventual champion Paula Badosa in the quarterfinals. Kerber dropped the first set and was down a double break in the second set, but she saved match points to tie the set before Badosa broke her for a last time to win the match. Due to her success throughout the season, Kerber returned to the top 10 for the first time since July 2019, reaching No. 9 on 1 November 2021. Now let's delve into the intricacies of 14th career title and pregnancy and explore its various aspects. Kerber started off the year having to cancel her preparations for the first Grand Slam of the year when a positive test for coronavirus forced her to skip Sydney. Then, in the first round of the 2022 Australian Open, she fell to Kayakimbi by a score of. Kerber then withdrew from Dubai and lost against Jill Teichmann in Doha. Kerber reached the 4th round for the 5th consecutive time at Indian Wells, defeating Zheng Wenwen and Daria Kasatkina. She lost to eventual champion Iga Swiatek. Kerber lost in Miami against eventual finalist Naomi Osaka in the first round, losing. Kerber began the spring clay season at the Billie Jean King Cup, playing for Germany against Kazakhstan. She lost both singles ties to Yulia Putintseva and Elena Rybakina. In both encounters, she won the first set, but went on to lose in 3 sets. She proceeded to lose to Anett Kontaveit in Stuttgart, withdraw from the Madrid Open citing a cold, and lose to 15th seed Coco Gauff in Rome. In the week preceding Roland Garros, Kerber received a last-minute wildcard in Strasbourg. Riding with the 6-match losing streak, she reached her 32nd career final, defeating Diane Parry, Alexandra Sasnovich, Magdalene, and Akin Dodin. In the final, Kerber defeated Kaja Juven in a marathon match lasting 3 hours and 16 minutes to win her 14th career title. It was her first outdoor red clay title and her first clay title since her title defense at Stuttgart in 2016. With Kerber saving 2 match points and striking 83 winners to Juven's 83, the match was considered one of the best matches of the year. In Paris, Kerber lost in the 3rd round to Alexandra Sasnovich in straight sets. Kerber began the grass court season at Bad Homburg as the defending champion. She lost to Alice Cornet in 3 sets. At Wimbledon, Kerber was unable to defend her semi-finalist points from 2021 due to the Belarusian and Russian ban from Wimbledon, resulting in her ranking dropping to World No. 25, she nevertheless lost in the third round to Elise Mertens in straight sets, who made 14 unforced errors compared to Kerber's 28. On August 24, she withdrew from the 2022 US Open after announcing her pregnancy, effectively ending her season. Unable to defend her semi-finalist points from Cincinnati and her fourth-round points from the US Open she won in 2021, alongside her 2021 BNP Paribas Open quarter-final points dropping in October, Kerber finished the 2022 season ranked No. 103, her lowest year-end ranking since 2009. Kerber became unranked following Wimbledon in 2023. Brace yourself for an enlightening exploration of 2024, comeback, United Cup champion, retirement as we dive into its profound implications. After a year-and-a-half hiatus, Kerber returned to the tour at the 2024 United Cup in Australia as part of Team Germany. In her first match since Wimbledon 2022, Kerber lost to Jasmine Paolini in straight sets, but won her mixed doubles encounter against Lorenzo Sonego and Angelique Kerber, partnering with Alexander Zverev for the first time since 2019. She proceeded to lose her succeeding singles matches to Caroline Garcia and Maria Sakkari in the round-robin and quarterfinals, respectively, as well as her mixed doubles match against Team France. Despite this, Team Germany qualified for the semi-finals against Australia, where Kerber defeated Iga Tomljanovic in 3 sets, saving 2 match points in the process and scoring a critical match that allowed Team Germany to qualify for the final against Team Poland. With the win, she recorded her first win since Wimbledon in 2022 and her first win in Australia since 2021. In the final, Kerber lost in straight sets against world No. 1 Iga Swiatek. Team Germany nevertheless went on to win the tournament after winning the final 2 matches. Due to the late conclusion in Sydney, Kerber withdrew from the Adelaide International. Kerber then headed to Melbourne for the first time since 2022 with a protected ranking and lost to Danielle Collins in 3 sets, ending her Australian summer season. At Indian Wells, Kerber reached the 4th round, defeating Petra Marti, 10th seed Gino Stepenko, her first top 10 win in more than 2 years since 2021, and 17th seed Monika Kudermetova, before losing to Caroline Wozniacki. Kerber entered the 2024 Miami Open using her protected ranking, but lost in the first round to Sloane Stephens, a setback after a successful tournament at Indian Wells a week earlier. She was given a wildcard entry to the 2024 Wimbledon Championships but lost in the first round to Yulia Putintseva. On 25 July 2024, Kerber announced that she would retire from professional tennis after the Paris Olympics, concluding a career spanning over 2 decades. She played her last match on 31 July 2024 at the Olympics, where she reached the quarterfinals, losing to eventual Olympic champion Zheng Wenwen following a tight final set to break, during which Kerber saved 3 match points. Brace yourself for an in-depth analysis as we navigate through playing style and its far-reaching implications. Fumbler upright. Kerber's squatting backhand position. Kerber is a defensive baseliner who has been noted for her speed, agility, athleticism, and footwork. She is known for her counter-punching style of play, extending rallies to attempt to draw an error out of more aggressive players, and to be able to hit low-risk winners with ease. Kerber has powerful ground strokes, allowing her to hit winners from frequently defensive positions. Her forehand is widely considered her most dangerous weapon. With her being able to hit powerful shots with disguise and speed, she is capable of hitting extreme angles with her forehand, which is responsible for many of the winners she accumulates on the court. Her forehand is hit with a short backswing, allowing her to flatten out her forehand and generate considerable power. Her best shot is her forehand down the line. Kerber is known for hitting her backhand whilst squatting, allowing her to generate considerable power and to create sharp angles on the court. She typically utilizes her backhand for defensive purposes, however. Her serve is considered her major weakness, rarely serving aces and hitting on average, fewer service winners than many of her fellow players, with her first serve speed typically peaking at just 104 miles per hour. Her second serve is a particular weakness, and is highly susceptible to attack, meaning that she rarely wins more than 50% of second serve points. Despite her weaknesses on serve, Kerber is proficient at defending her serve with her outstanding athleticism. Kerber, however, is one of the best returners on the WTA Tour, ranking consistently in the top 50 players based on percentage of return points won. Kerber experiences her greatest success when she plays with an aggressive mindset. Despite her defensive playing style, her occasional slumps in form can be attributed to an over-reliance upon her defensive skills and an unwillingness to play points aggressively. Kerber's favorite surface is grass, as the fast pace and low bounce afforded on grass courts suits her flat-hitting playing style, although she has had success on hard courts as well. Let's now shift our focus to personal life and explore the ways in which it shapes our perspective. Kerber is currently based in the Polish town of Paszykowo, a suburb of Poznań, where her maternal grandfather owned an indoor tennis facility. Kerber speaks German, Polish and English, and also holds dual German-Polish citizenship. She has competed for Germany throughout her career. In an interview, Kerber clarified that, despite strong Polish connection, she considers herself German. I am German. I play for Germany. I grew up in Germany, and my heart beats for Germany. A huge football fan, Kerber has cited German club FC Bayern Munich as her favorite team. Kerber has frequently cited former German tennis player Steffi Graf as her childhood idol and her motivation for pursuing tennis. Kerber is Catholic, telling Emotion magazine, "Faith is important to me. Christian values continue to shape me to this day. In difficult moments, faith in God is an anchor for me, whereby faith has different forms for me and also comes into play in believing in oneself and one's own path." On August 24, 2022, Kerber announced that she was taking a break from tennis due to pregnancy. Bild reports the father of Kerber's child is Franco Bianco, manager of a sporting facility in Knighstein im Tonnes. She gave birth to a daughter in 2023. Now, it's time to shift gears and explore endorsements. Kerber has endorsement deals with Adidas, her clothing and shoe sponsor, and Yonex, her racket sponsor. Kerber uses a discontinued Yonex Core SI100. In early 2015, she became global ambassador of Stuttgart car manufacturer Porsche. In late 2016, she signed a deal with insurance group Generali. In late 2016, she became beauty ambassador for the US cosmetics company Bare Minerals, a Shiseido brand. In 2017, she became the global brand ambassador for Australian health snack brand Sim Secrets and signed with both the Swiss luxury watchmaker Rolex and the software corporation SAP. Kerber has also been named ambassador for children's charity UNICEF. In August 2019, Kerber announced that she became a brand ambassador for Head & Shoulders Supreme. In November 2019, Kerber announced that she became a brand ambassador for Ole Lingard Copenhagen. In December 2019, she was named tournament ambassador of the inaugural Bad Homburg Open, which due to the COVID-19 pandemic, did not occur until 2021. Her portfolio of endorsements has made her the second highest paid female athlete in the world in the annual Forbes list of 2017. Now, let's shift our attention to coaches. Kerber has been coached in the past by Torben Beltz, Wim Fissette November-October 2018, Rainer Schüttler November-July 2019 and Dieter Kindelmann November-July 2020. In July 2020, she began working with Beltz once again, until they split in November 2021. Now, we shift our focus to singles for 3 titles, 1 runner-up, a topic that deserves our attention. Singles for 3 titles, 1 runner-up. Now, let's shift our focus to singles, 1 runner-up and embark on an intellectual exploration of its various dimensions. Singles, 1 runner-up. As we enter this new phase, let's navigate the complexities of singles, one silver medal, and discover its practical applications. Singles, one silver medal. In this chapter, we'll be unraveling the enigma of awards and recognition and discovering its transformative power. Kerber has received the following awards: Saudi Player of the Year 2016, German Sportswoman of the Year 2016, 2018 US Open Sportsmanship Award 2016, ITF World Champion 2016, nominated for the Laureus World Sports Award for Sportswoman of the Year 2016, named among ISPN's Impact 2016, named among Europe's 30 Under 30 by Forbes 2017, world's second highest paid female athlete by Forbes 2017, nominated 2018 WTA Player of the Year. I love hearing from you, so leave your thoughts and suggestions in the comments.